Hello, everyone.
Stop doing what I'm doing.
We are here. We're here. We are not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here. Episode 21. We've got some bits to talk about, and then we're gonna do talk about mods, which seems to be becoming quite a big thing in VR at the moment. Seems to be dropping out, but we've got some little things to talk about first. Obviously, I'm here with the lovely co-host Dr. Oculus.
Oh. Good evening. Welcome. Hello.
Welcome, those in chat at the
How are you
moment.
doing, man?
To apologise, Ball, but chicken doesn't work on this, and it wouldn't work anyway because I didn't have Streamer open. I've been and disabled all of them, but yeah, I'm doing good, thank you, on this fine Wednesday. How about you?
Yeah, I am good. It has been a very, very busy month, and October is looking even busier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's an exciting time. Exciting time. There just seemed to be just a crazy, crazy month again. See, like we had our summer lull, and then which we normally get in the VR space. I don't know if developers just logically think don't release them because people are always too hot to bother.
Yeah, unless you're releasing like a Lucky's Tale or something, you know, where you sit down and just don't move, like releasing in summertime, big, you know, dancey game or something.
Yep.
Terrible idea. Like, I ain't playing it. Well, then again, I'm not playing it anyway. Well, I say that. Yeah, so summertime hotness, yeah, too hot to VR,
Yeah.
but
Then we just have
cooling down now and
hit
not
releases.
heating up.
Hit releases. So since the last one, just start off with since the last one we've had 3 shooters release.
Just 3.
Firewall, 3 across PlayStation. Did all come to PC yet? I don't know.
I honestly don't know. It's one of those games that's always been kind of on the periphery for me, but it's never made it into my thought process. Like, it came out on PSVR1. Yeah. And everyone was like, Firewall kind of exists, so I'm not bothered. Then it came to Quest, like you said, and now it's out on PSVR2. And every single time I thought, maybe I'll pick that up one day. One day never comes. Like, I just don't do PvP games.
Yeah.
So it's not one that's top of my list, sadly. So, but you've played the all 3, yeah?
Yeah, I've played all 3. Yeah. Firewall was and ahhing, then 4 more kicked in, and I thought, you know what? I didn't play it on the first PSVR 1. I never touched Firewall on PSVR 1 because at that time I was in Standout and Contractors on PC. So I was like, I'm gonna.
Why did you buy a PlayStation VR if you never played? Like, most people bought the PSVR for that thing. I did.
I got mine day release.
You, Mr. Fancy Pants. Yeah. No. Yeah. There were some great titles on PSVR, but it was when Firewall, like the FOMO for that kicked in. I was like, I want a peripheral where I can aim and shoot people, and everything all looks fine. Okay, I'm gonna buy a PSVR and managed to get a deal, like pretty decent deal. Midlife of the PSVR. I dug that when I was playing with friends. So I had a few rounds with GT and Zim, and yeah, we had some good nights playing, although the controller used to annoy me because I'd be stood there aiming and it'd just be like, hey, I'm off. And it's not taking off into the sunset. I'm like, I haven't moved. So yeah, it was frustrating in that sense, but it was the best thing going for PSVR at the time in that space.
Yeah, I think the problem was, like I said, I was playing Standout Contractors. I didn't have PlayStation Plus because I didn't use my PlayStation Online ever, and I was like, I'm not going to pay 50 quid a year to try this game when I'm playing what's probably better than it in Contractors on the PC. And was just my view at the time. But obviously, I've got PlayStation Plus back with the PSVR 2 when that came out because I wanted to play some online stuff, like after the fall and things like that. And then it's like, you know what? I got 4 more. I was like, I'm not going to buy it and tell you what people think. Got 4 more, pre-ordered it. Played about an hour and a half. Managed to get into about 3 games in that time. Because again, the lobbies don't work.
Shocker. Like, don't even get me started on that.
And then I've never been back, and this is a problem I've seen a few people report, so hopefully they'll get a fix to it quick, because I might try it again after that. Obviously they're concentrating on getting the matchmaking working first. Fully understandable.
Yeah, it's... So, the first game, when that came out, it was a lobby simulator.
Yeah.
Especially if you were playing with more than just yourself. So if you had a squad, they would only match you with other people that were in a squad. It wouldn't allow somebody to just grab a pickup game.
Yeah.
So you ended up, especially if you were playing with friends, you would just end up just talking in a lobby and doing emotes and stuff like that, and nothing would happen. You were just staring at a lobby the entire time. So that's the first game. That was a problem, and then after a while they fixed it, and once again, as it was kind of the best game of that genre on the PSVR, it managed to survive it. How do you make the same mistake a second time?
Yeah.
Like, how did they learn nothing from the first game? It infuriates me, and I can't understand it. But the thing is, because they are no longer the only game in town, I don't think they're gonna survive it.
Yeah. Obviously everyone knew this before. Obviously there was no manual reload. That's going to come further down the line in a hardcore mode. But the reason I've never been back to it outside of waiting in the lobby that time, is even to try it again, is they've obviously got the new hardware with the eye tracking. They want to use it. There's a mode where you bring up, it's called ADS in it, and you press the trigger and it snaps, and you control with your eyes sort of in a way. So it's a lot more accurate than looking. Like, you get an accuracy boost using that you wouldn't get that you don't get if you hold the gun up manually to your eye. You get more accuracy through that mode.
Right. So aiming down sights is possible.
Yeah. But you've got a larger spray area. A lot larger spray area than it is if you've got this mode, which is basically doing the same thing but with a trigger pull.
And is that like a power up, or is
that's just a constant? It's a constant thing.
And so if you don't, you could put your hands by your side, pull the appropriate trigger or button or whatever, and it'll just bring the gun to your face, so then you can aim with your eyeballs and.
Oh no, you've sort of got to hold it up and pull the trigger.
Okay.
But it's like you're taking think of Sniper Elite. It's like you're taking a breath, but it doesn't run out.
Okay.
But the
choices.
The other biggest problem with it is why I haven't been back to play it is I'm cross dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm right hand, left eye in my dominance.
Yeah.
But that snap mode only snaps to the eye of your dominant hand.
Yeah.
So I've got no option but to manually aim down the sight at the moment, which gives me a larger spray range and someone I'm running into who can actually use it. Now the big problem I have is the reason I am left eye dominant is I am allergic to wasp stings, and I got stung in my eye as a kid. So I can't actually close my left eye on its own. If I want to close my left eye, I have to close both. So it's not like I can persevere and just use my right eye.
Uh-huh.
And even I know it'd still be worse off, but at least I could use it. And I can't. And it's a lot of complaints that come up. People are saying it's not even as accurate with closing. Doing it if you can close your left eye as well. So there's a lot of cross dominant players who, even the other way around, left-handed, right eye, are just in their Discord have raised it a lot. Like I said, I understand them solving the lobby issue first. I think it's more important people are playing the games than.
Yeah. If they don't solve that, then there's no point, sort of thing. Yeah. But I guess it's one of those things that, like, if you don't have somebody in the office that is, opposite, then they're probably never even going to think. Like, I personally had no idea it was really a thing until you mentioned about it, and then turns out there's quite a few people, as you said, that I've spoke to since. It's like, yeah, me too. And I was like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't even realize. Like, it's always just been natural. I feel like I could aim out the left eye, but just the placement of everything feels way more natural in the right. So
I've never thought of it
I've
either.
never thought about it.
I've never thought about being cross dominant before either until this. Like even me, because most shooters, nowadays in VR, you lift it up manually. So I'd never really think about it.
You just pick an eye and it works.
Yeah, and this is something that's why I've not gone back. Because, and I've
get that.
Got the feeling though, if they don't fix it, don't fix it sooner rather than later. Everyone's going to be so good at the game with all the stuff unlocked. Now I'll be going in as a noob, and I'll get sick of it because I'll have the first gun, and
that's one of my problems with PvP games is that people will buy a game and they will absolutely love it and they'll play it and they'll get good at it, and that's totally fine. You want to do that, you go nuts. But I play so many different games that when I do play it, it's just a random session every like 2 or 3 months or whatever. So the end result is, as you say, everybody's very, very good at the game, and I'm stood there with my basic skin and terrible guns, and like I just get dominated. It just takes all the fun out of it. So good matchmaking can technically, I suppose, fix that issue, but at that point in time, I'm not. It's just not for me.
Yeah. So I will, like I said, I'll probably go back when they fix it just to see it if they do fix it. I'll go back and try it.
That's a shame.
But I don't think it'll keep me in there.
That PlayStation refund policy, man, it's just so.
Yeah, they need
like it. For people like you, that is a game breaking issue for you. There's no other way to describe it. It really is just terrible. And you can't do anything about it. It's completely out of your control, and that's a shame.
And then a couple of days later, we got Crossfire, Sierra Squad, and
don't search it on Twitter.
Yeah, and that got I was getting a lot of slack on online.
Yeah, people weren't a fan. I can mildly understand some people's complaints. So I was sat talking with another prominent VR YouTuber before its release, and I was sat there and they were like, "I've played it." I was like, "Oh yeah, how did you get on?" And they're like, "I'm like 80% of the way through the game in 2 hours, and it is just ridiculous. Like you just aim at a spot and just pull the trigger at random intervals, and you'll headshot everybody that comes out." So I was worried. I was really worried about the game, but you said that you had it and it was co-op, and I thought, all right, fair enough. I'll give it a swing. And I don't know whether it's one of those sort of low expectations, so they could only over deliver, or what. But I dig that game. I don't get the problem. Maybe because I'm such an amateur. Like I'm not the guy who's like, yes, I want to feed every bullet into the clip and then the clip into the thing and then break the pistol down. And I don't want that complexity. What I want is to just shoot people in the face. So it delivers that in spades. I have no problem with it at all.
Yeah, what actually shocked me with it when the sticker was getting online, people talking about it being arcade, and I thought they've never ever said it's not going to. They've advertised it as an arcade shooter.
Yeah, I had no impression whatsoever that it would be a mil sim. Like it doesn't look like I'm going to be Rainbow Six in it and flashbang and breach and clear and all that gubbins. It's exact. My memories of Modern Warfare 2. What was the one on the 360 that came with night vision goggles? I think it was Modern Warfare 2. And you could play the game and blah 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 and all that, and then you could play like co-op missions with your friends where you had to just stand in a town square and kill everything that moved.
Yeah.
And to me, this is exactly like that. Like it really does give me that kind of vibe again, and I totally dig it. I'm a big fan of Crossfire. I will happily play that at a moment's notice.
I think some big issues with it came from the trailer, because it's clear the company used the realism mode for their trailer because people were going down in one shot and this on the trailer. But I mean, I think they updated it and just put it as you don't even have to complete the game anymore to unlock realism mode. Like originally,
it's a prime example.
Complete a single, but I think that was the problem. I think what some people had, they seen the trailer and saw people going down in 1 or 2 shots and were like, and then they buy it and it's a couple of magazines.
Yeah, I've poured many a bullet into somebody's face and they're still standing. But that's, as I say, I'm totally fine with that. And the thing is, to me, it mildly makes sense. I get that choice of like, okay, you play the game in this mode, get good, and then we'll extend the game's life by making it again, but incredibly difficult. And apparently, people didn't want to do that at all.
Yeah. I haven't tried realism mode yet. I keep saying I'm going to, and then I haven't yet.
It's not available in co-op, is it? It's only available in single player. Yeah. And campaign-wise, I'm not very far. I'm way further with you than I am in the game itself.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think I will still play it as the devs intended. If I ever do, I will just play its completion, then switch to realism mode. And if I get my ass handed to me too much, I'll say, no, all right, I'm done. But yeah, it's it's one of those things that game has no multiplayer in the sense of PvP.
No.
And on one hand, I won't miss it because previously mentioned, don't do PvP. But on the other hand, it does feel like added value for those that do.
Yeah.
So once I finish the co-op missions and once I finish the campaign missions, unless they do some sort of DLC and additional maps and stuff, there's nothing left for me at that point in time. The game's dead. So if other people think, okay, yeah, I would rather play the likes of Pavlov or whatever, I can understand them wanting to spend the money there instead of Crossfire, but it gets a big thumbs up from me. I'm down with that game. I dig it.
No, so the final one was Alvo. Like, I played a bit of Alvo on PS1. I think I bought one of these like 2-week trials off CD keys for like PlayStation Plus to try it when it came out.
Okay.
Because it was a new shooter and I just wanted to see what it was. Played a little bit on the Quest. Obviously, it came PlayStation. Got access to the beta, then never touched it, and then I think I got my access to the beta about 3 days before the game release, so it wasn't like I would have had a lot of time.
Yeah, it's not like gonna make a great deal of difference.
Yeah, and then I played it on release with Indie VR, and I love it. It's just like it brings you back to the. I mean, I was joking with 13 and said when the date come out, I'm waiting for all the videos on YouTube to drop again, like Alvo's Call of Duty in VR, like because it did on the PlayStation 1 release, it did on the Quest release. People just releasing the same video, like this.
Nothing's changed in the game, so their opinions is exactly the same.
It's like the same people dropping a new video every time it comes out with the same title, like COD in VR. And I was like,
yeah.
I know that's coming, but that's basically what it is. It's fast paced. It's the maps are well varied. There's plenty of maps now which I didn't know of. Spawn and die. There's like martyrdom perks. You use perks like martyrdom and lightweight and just name different things.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's always that temptation. I'm in that space as well, and you kind of get the impression like you want people to see it, and the best way to do it is to compare it to an existing property that people do enjoy. So yeah, I guarantee I've done it at least like a Spider-Man in VR for Windlands or something daft like that. You just want people to see the game, and let's be honest, we all want to be viewed over and over and over again. So anything to drive those views, it's going to happen.
Like I said, I don't judge them for doing it. I was just Joe 13 saying I'm ready. I'm ready for these titles to be all over the place. Yeah, it's going to be everywhere.
And of course, presumably the PSVR2 version is the best version because the Quest sucks. The PS4 is not a PS5, and also the foveated rendering and all this gubbins that comes with it. It's
new textures, new lighting, things like that. And
between when it comes to the PSVR 2, it's not the most comfortable headset. I will wear it for a few hours and it's fine and everything, but it is steadily becoming my go-to platform of choice. I've always struggled in the past. Because a lot of games, or a good few games, if you bought them on Oculus Quest, you got them on the Quest store, or I could buy it on Steam and play it PC VR. And so I'd be very, very torn about which platform I was going for. With Meta games disappearing from the store and the PSVR2 being what it is, it's just becoming my go-to platform of choice. The people we were talking last month about the games that's available for the PSVR2 and how people are saying there aren't any games when realistically there's a bunch. You've just played them elsewhere, so you're discounting them. My thing is just like, do I buy it again? Because I really dig the visuals on this headset and everything. It really is kind of my go-to headset. So that's now my new dilemma until I get a Quest 3, and then I'm thinking, all right, do I get him on the Quest again? But it's gonna be a struggle. Somebody in the PC space needs to do something similar to a PSVR with eye tracking. That is. I said that before the PSVR came out. Eye tracking is the next generation of VR for me. Eye tracking needs to exist. So even the Pimax, even that's tempting me now. The problem is that people can make dynamic foveated rendering based on your eye tracking for the PSVR because everybody has it, whereas on PC, Quest Pro owners and Pimax Crystal owners, and Vive Pro I suppose more and more headsets are getting the hardware. It's just, it needs to become the standard. I think that's the next big step, and I think Valve need to start that. Yeah, I was hoping the Quest 3 would have it, which would potentially justify the £200 price increase, but it doesn't. So, Anyway, enough about me and my rants. Sorry, Alvo.
But yeah, it's like I said, it is basically like people have said it's Call of Duty. You got perks, you've got kill streaks, so you can bring in dogs and things like that. It's fast paced. The maps are well varied. The unlocks the same, so you can start with an MP5. As you get to a set rank, you'll unlock the next gun. You get kills with the MP5. Get so many kills to unlock attachments, so like 100 kills to get a red dot. So it works exactly like even Call of Duty's level up system works. But why not take something that's successful somewhere else and bring it to somewhere else?
Yeah, totally. Diversify your portfolio. The more money you get coming in, the more times you get to make more games.
And we could tell that I've enjoyed it on the because of the PvP side. I haven't tried. They've got zombie mode in there, which I've not tried, but tell that I enjoyed the PvP side because I jumped in with Indy. Fitz joined us. Someone from who watches Indy's channel joined. There's a team of 5, so we were a team of 4. And we said, I said I'm coming on for a few games, and it was like nearly 3 hours and 20 minutes later when we stopped playing.
I think it's the tweet, must be quite gripping. That one more go. All right, we'll just do one more.
But what they do really well, and again we'll go back to my original issue with Firewall with the lobbies, is we were joining as a team of 4. It's 5 aside. I was thinking we're probably going to wait a bit to find a game because we need to find a game where all 4 of us can be on one side, one person fill our team. And it just found a game which had 3 spaces on one team and 1 space on the other team. Put us all in that game, divided one of us off for that one game. But then when that round ends, it rejigs the team, so you're all back on the same team. So it finds a game you can all fit in. It might split you up for the first game, but then it'll match us all up on and then you'll get put together on the start of the next game, which works.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
So you're not waiting
really good.
for a game with 4 spaces to join. You just
see stuff like that. And you said something very, very obvious there, but you got access to like an early access to a beta. I imagine it was available to many other people prior to then as well.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to test things like this and work these bugs out before they released it. First contact.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the free shooters. I would say if you're looking for PvP, you're getting sick of Pavlov because I still think maybe Pavlov's what offers you the most. Because it's massive. The maps are like there's loads of stuff in Pavlov, where Firewall brings you something like 9 maps and a couple of team deathmatch, search and destroy, and domination type game modes in it.
See, that's something else as well. So people who played the first game, going back to the maps, it's going to just be like, going back to a town you visited a while ago. As a newbie, they're gonna know those maps and they're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
Whereas it's just that game being a remake rather than a sequel, which admittedly games like that don't really need sequels.
No.
There's no point in Minecraft 2 because Minecraft 1 is still Minecraft. Like, what would you do apart from add new content? You can do that to the first one. Beat Saber, there's no point in a Beat Saber 2 because you just make new music packs. The game itself is not broken, so why change it? And that's another thing. I get them, remaking the first game, but like a bunch new maps and game modes and matchmaking, it just doesn't. It baffles me. Absolutely baffles me. I can't understand what they were doing. I just don't get it.
Let's talk about Beat Saber. Touch on the thing you brought up, which I didn't know about until just before I went live. Synth Riders is dropping its support on the Oculus Rift PC store.
Yeah, kind of weird. I don't. Well, I mean, there must be a reason behind it. They will have their own business reasons, and that's fine. But it's like I was saying, the Quest store losing things and Oculus losing games, it kind of makes you wonder what's going on. Like, so they must know something we don't. It might be a reaction to the Unity thing. That game's on Unity, right?
I believe it was, yeah. Sorry.
But I just don't. There's got to be a reason, and I would love to know what it is, but it'll be their reason. They'll not share it. They are going to allow us, the email I read earlier, they are going to allow you to essentially still access the game, but it's like real VR fishing. That's another one.
Yeah.
I was playing the PC version for ages, and I was like, where's all this new content? Jumped into the Quest, bunch of new content. I'm thinking, what's going on? They just stopped supporting the PC version. They had a Steam page that said the game was going to come out in like 2020 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still not on Steam. Like, it's still missing. They've just abandoned PC for mobile. So I don't know. There must be something behind the scenes. Meta clearly have given up on PC gaming.
Yeah.
They're just going to give everything towards the standalone, which is fine if your standalones can hack it or, cloud gaming or something. I don't know, but come on, man. You've got some great IPs. Like, make them PC games. Stop giving me Quest games, damn it.
It's like a shame with it because if you look at when they showed off Asgard's Wrath 2, it looked great for standalone, but that game was beautiful on PC.
Yeah, that was one of its biggest and unique. Well, I say unique. It was one of its biggest selling points is the fact that the game looked fantastic. Mm-hmm. You get into that and you're like, wow, this is a massive, beautiful world. And then the Quest game looks like it was carved out of a potato in comparison.
Yeah.
It's okay. You could say graphics don't make the game. And I agree. Absolutely agree. I frequently tell myself off for judging a game by its looks, playing it and then being like, why the hell did I not play this sooner?
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of sword fighting games on Quest already. So what's your unique selling point if it's not graphics?
Yeah.
Why would I play that over Swordsman? Swordsman that just came out on the Rift store.
Blade of Sorcery.
Yeah, like why am I not playing those? Why am I going to play your game instead? And I'm struggling to come up with an answer.
So one thing to point out about the Synth Riders thing as well is if you own it on the Rift store, they do give an email you can contact and they will give you it on Steam.
Yes, if you send them your proof of purchase, they will send you a Steam key so you can continue to play the game. So that's a great move on their part. Like that is doing it right. Because the amount of times that games disappear, the Marvel game, which I'm assuming down was to a licensing issue. Maybe they made a deal with one company and then Disney were like, no. That's a thing. But then Layers of Fear. Anybody who purchased the Layers of Fear DLC on the Oculus Go,
Anybody who purchased the Layers of Fear DLC, somebody pointed out in the community Zim was just saying that if you go into it, it's gone. You can't access it. Even though you own it, you cannot access it.
Mm-hmm. So this is like the thing, like
worrying.
with the ones that they've announced are they're not supporting of their own titles, BOGO and Drop.
Yeah, and BOGO was free.
I think
you can't get mad.
Was Dead and Buried free? I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was the second one to charge for, wasn't it?
I didn't pay for it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was always free. I mean, I suppose the thing to do is to jump on there on a private browser and see if it's free now.
My understanding is from Mike yesterday. He was talking about it, a live open mic, and he was saying it's something to do with the SDK is no longer supported for it. There's something.
Okay.
I think with the upgrade, something about the SDK causes issues, so they're just getting rid of them.
It makes sense. Because BOGO, that's a Quest game.
Yeah.
That's not just the PC. That is a Quest game. That was, in fact, that was one of the few titles available for the Quest 1 on release. Yeah. It was like that, Vader Immortal, and a bunch of other sort of games that I struggle to remember. So yeah, that one's had its time. It's been like 5 years. Yeah.
It's a 40-minute. It's a 40-minute thing. It's not. It's a 40-minute experience, really.
Wasn't it designed to be like a daily player? Like you're supposed to go about like a mobile game and you could scan new things and feed him new fruit or something. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was like a Tamagotchi, but in VR one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I think. I never went back after the first time. I was like, all right, yeah, so that's what that is. I'll come back to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's this is another thing to say. It makes me think twice about buying games on the Meta store now.
Yeah. So like I was saying at the beginning as well, it's sort of like a lull of games and a load. We've had quite a few in September already. We've got Hellsweeper coming out Thursday tomorrow.
Yeah.
We've got Paper Beast coming out on the 27th, getting the upgrade.
PSVR2, yeah. Looking forward to that one because I've dabbled in and out of that world, and then I never quite went very far. And this has got to be my. This has to be where I actually go and finish it now, I think.
Yeah, I had a presentation yesterday, and I think I better make sure it all came out. Some of it's come out and lifted off embargo. I just want to make sure all of it has. So I had a presentation I was in yesterday with Polyarch around Glassbreakers, showing off a new champion, and showing off that it's all out of embargo. They are opening it up on the 29th, I think they said, of September as a open beta. It's free to play on the Quest Store. It's open beta, so you can download it.
This is what?
Glassbreakers.
Hasn't that game been available for weeks?
I think it's in App Lab, but there was like a
right. Okay.
I think you still have to get it through App Lab, but it's like a big open beta now, and they're bringing more stuff into it, new characters and things.
Yeah. Okay. I played it ages ago, and they were like, "Yeah, go take this code, install it, do this live stream, and then afterwards you can play it." And I was like, "Oh, brilliant! Fair enough, I'll do that." So I pre-installed it and everything, and then I said, "Oh yeah, I've got some more codes." And everybody's like, "I don't need a code; it's free." I was like, "Yeah, okay, fair enough." So yeah, I've played it. I don't like PvP games.
No.
So my opinion is irrelevant.
Yeah, I did bring up. I asked in there because the issue I mean, we got like quite early access to it, both of us, and we on the actual play test before it was even announced as a thing. It was like play test, and then I did raise a question yesterday. Is please say it's going to be rank based matchmaking, which it is. So you're not going to get... He did say that's already in place for the version that's available at the moment on Apple App. He said that's already in place. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't want to get put in.
Yeah, it is.
With someone who's...
You don't need to be playing it in a month's time and find out somebody's been playing it every day for the last month and then destroy you. You need to be going against somebody that's a level 1. Yeah, there is a level system. There is ranked matches and things like that. I did when it was released, I did jump into a game with a random person and I did somehow manage to beat them, but they had access to stuff that I didn't have. But I think it's not so much pay to win, but there is a pay element to it if you are that way inclined. Makes sense. I don't have a problem with the pay to get skins and all that gubbins. I don't care. You can win it and earn it and play it and stuff like that, and you can grind it. And
I don't mind it in free-to-play games.
Yes, they have to make money somewhere. Why not there? I don't care. People, I see some really cool stuff on Fortnite, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to play as Rick from Rick and Morty. But then I just remember that I have to play Fortnite to do it, and I'm like, I don't care. So yeah, but that Glassbreaker, so I did play that when they did the announcement a few weeks back. It looks lovely and everything like that, and it's great, and there's tactics, and you can really sort of you can get a bit crazy with it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big type of game fan anyway. Never mind. Don't mind PvP, but the type of MOBA thing is not my cup of tea at all.
Yeah.
And
I've played some Heroes of the Storm and stuff in the past, and it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. But
I got invited to the Zoom meeting to talk about it, and I just wanted to see. Personally, I joined it to see if the passion was there. Because they speak to the people who were making it. So I wanted to see, was there passion there? Because obviously a massive thing about Moss is how much love and passion they put into those games. And in my head, I was like, are you still going to have the same passion for this? And they seem to, from speaking to them. They seem very excited about what they're doing with it, which I was like, it's good to see.
Yes.
Will I touch it? I might jump in, why? Because it's free to play and at least try it once, maybe. But it's not my type of game.
Yeah, definitely play it. Because we were talking about we were going to play it together in the early days. Like, we both was like, okay, it's opening up in an hour and we'll see you back in an hour. And then I loaded it up first because I think you got your timings wrong or something like that. There's something weird either way. So I loaded it up first and I went, mate, don't even bother installing it. There's no way for us to fight each other. And it's a MOBA. Yeah. So that was, the first time they sort of announced it and let us play it and stuff. And that was, that was... I love the world. I love the characters, and they still put the same sort of care and attention into the characters. I have no desire to fight them.
No.
So keep doing the good work, though, Polyarch. I mean, there's every game leads to the next game. So next one, hopefully, I will dig it.
So there's a game I want to talk about, which will lead us perfectly to our subject about mods is Behind the Frame VR. It's a 2-year-old flat screen game. And I was just interested because they're doing something. It looked like they were doing something different. I hadn't actually played the flat screen, and the idea is you show in the trailer painting, Studio Ghibli inspired art, like animations and stuff. And I was like, this looks like it'd be fantastic. They've never played the flat screen one. Jumped into VR, and I summarised my review with, it tells a good story. It just, the VR implementation's more negative than a positive.
So they've not done it great.
No. Like, you will paint. The painting's quite accurate. You have to paint in it. And then it's puzzles to find the extra colours of your paint between it telling the story. But obviously the story is this Studio Ghibli art style 2D animation. So once you've solved the puzzle, it just fades to black, and then you get like it on a big screen, the cutscene, because it's like a 2D animation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go back to VR, and then it's just the interactions when you're trying to grab stuff is sometimes fiddly. For an example, for one part of the puzzle, you've got to put a picture together in your sketchbook you've got, and trying to grab that and not grab the sketchbook is really hard. Like switch the sketchbook into the hand you're trying to grab with, and then they've done stuff like some of it won't ruin it because it tells you to do this in a list of things to do in the game. It's not like it is a full puzzle. You've got to make your breakfast, but it entails of picking the egg out of the basket and putting it in the highlighted silhouette above the pan. Then
like a rough area near the pan, and then it cracks.
It just cracks and drops into the pan, and you're just like, why am I not hitting that off the pan?
Yeah, the same with the toast, wasn't it? You would get 2 slices of bread, you put the toaster adjacent, it will then take it from you and then put it in the toaster and put the thing down. It's just like, why can't I just go bonk bonk and put the thing down? Like I saw Gamertag VR.
Yeah.
Did a video on 2 games. That was one of them, and then the other one was Down and Out.
Down and Out, yeah.
And he basically said, these games are not worth my time and they're not worth yours, and here's why.
Yeah, it took me like an hour.
Like, okay.
It took me about an hour to finish it. But what it made me want to do is, because I loved the art style and stuff, was look at the flat screen one, because I thought
I think I own the flat screen one.
So I just went on CD keys, and it was 99 pence on CD keys. So I thought, you know what? I'll buy it to have a look at it. And if I was reviewing the flat screen one, I'd recommend it. Unfortunately, with the VR, just isn't worth it.
No,
go and buy the flat screen one. Yeah, buy the flat screen one if you're going to play it. At this moment in time, I mean, the developers did get back and saying they've taken everyone's feedback on board and are looking into it. So maybe we might see it improve over time. But
I think they've shot the shot, though. I don't think they're going to get
a
second bite at the apple, sadly.
No. Like, I would honestly say you get the Steam version for like 99 pence on CD keys. If you're going to play it, play that version, because it is a nice game. It looks nice.
Looks pretty. Yeah.
The puzzles are never over difficult, but there's some that might leave you scratching your head for a bit. Just didn't transfer into the 3D side very good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it looks very flat. Like, it looks like the kind of game that is all sort of hand drawn and made to be that kind of game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The VR side of things, I don't see that adding any great benefit, really.
Yeah. So sort of segues into the thing of, obviously we've seen a lot of VR mods drop. And that's sort of like a game the developers brought to VR and not done very well. But with the VR mods at the moment, we've seen it done very well.
Well, while we were going live and I was looking for that Synth Riders email, I actually received another email that just now BeamNG.drive has just got experimental VR support. The developers have implemented it themselves. So I don't know whether you're not a massive driving kind of guy anyway, but the BeamNG Drive, it's kind of like if Assetto Corsa met Boneworks. It's kind of a community-driven car-based game, and all I ever really did in it was send cars down a massive ramp and then bifurcate them on a post, and then they shatter into 1,000 pieces. So it's already going to be quite a demanding game, but now you can do that in VR. I'm very curious to know how that actually pans out. It's probably changed a lot since the last time I played it, but that's just been announced. Like it's today that version 0.3 is out and it's got experimental VR support. So I can see me streaming that in the very near future. Nice. But then, mods. We've both been playing mods these last few weeks, few days especially. Because they are just coming out of nowhere, really. Yeah. I subscribe to the Luke Ross Patreon, and always just getting emails just like, oh yeah, so I've got this game available now, and this game, and I'm like, I think I own that game. I should play that game. I've already played that game, but I want to play it in VR. So many different games. No controller support for the Luke Ross mod. It's all gamepad. There's no 6-DoF controllers. I don't think they have got any real desire to try and make hands work in games, but then some of them, they don't even need it. Like, I suppose you could do first-person Spider-Man and shoot webs and things like that, but the game's not really designed around that. So I'm happy that that's third person. Stray, I've been playing that, very, very third person. Such a beautiful environment to be inside of, though. Have you got Stray on PC, on PlayStation?
No, but I'll play it on PlayStation.
Right. Yeah, so like the aesthetic and everything is very, very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Not very demanding. Like the mod, aside from the fact that it crashes a lot, the mod is so easy to run performance-wise. I was locked at like 60 FPS. The AER 2.0 that Luke Ross has come up with is great, and I'm getting a better understanding of it every time I use the mod and think this is becoming a very real possibility. But I was playing Stray last night. It's just so lovely running around that world. I massively dig it.
Yeah.
But then again, am I rating the mod at this point? Or am I rating the game? The mod itself is perfectly fine. It's functional. Broke about 5 times in the 2 hours I played, maybe more. But all in all, good experience for me. Would recommend if you own the game. I don't know if I would recommend you buy it especially.
Yeah.
Because I think it's 30 quid.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. Get it in a sale and then do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought on PlayStation day release because as soon as it was announced originally, I was like, I need to play this game. Like was that an E3 or whatever? It's just when they showed the trailer, I was just like, I need to play this.
I was shocked that all of those graphics weren't ray traced. I thought it was going to be a ray tracing game, but it's not. It just looks great.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I had the early versions of Luke Ross mod. I think the last one I tried was Horizon.
Yes, yeah, I started playing that, but these big games, I just don't have time.
The thing I struggled with Horizon was the aiming. I thought the aiming, but maybe he's improved it. But I always felt like I just couldn't seem to get the aiming right. I had to look a bit off to the side to get it to hit what I wanted to hit. Got used to it.
No,
but
I was generally fine, I think. Yeah, I think I was generally fine.
Yeah.
Most of mine came down to performance. My issues, but there's a lot of different things around the performance that I think I could very easily fix now after playing the other day.
I got it for Cyberpunk because of the reason I got it, but Cyberpunk was notoriously bad running anyway. Like even just a standard version. So
just flat. I think you need a powerhouse of a PC.
Yeah.
I want to get that game. I want to try it in VR. But the problem is that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'll be trying it in VR. I'll play it for a few hours and be like, that's pretty dope. I'm never going to see it through to the end. And so if I'm never going to see it through to the end, I don't want to be paying 30, 40 quid for it. And CD Projekt Red games notoriously hold their value until they've been out for like a decade.
Yeah.
And then you'll get them cheap.
Yeah.
So the lowest I've seen is 27. And then now they're releasing a massive update soon. I don't know whether that's DLC, but now they're releasing a massive update. I can't see the price going down anytime soon.
No. I think they're the only two I tried with Luke Ross, to be fair. Was the GTA 5 on Luke Ross? Before that got scuppered, but that was free when he first released that, wasn't it? He didn't have his Patreon.
It was, yeah.
But obviously Rockstar give him a cease and desist on that one.
Yeah, although, I mean, I'm a hoarder of all things VR, so I still have the mod in its functional state. I was playing Red Dead the other night after stream. It's so pretty. Yeah. So pretty. So yeah, I think it's a shame that's gone away and they've not done anything about it, but I am still going to continue to. I need to play Red Dead. I might just quit life and become a Red Dead streamer until I finish it. Maybe I should do that.
So
oh wow, okay. So I had a dev reach out to me the other day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, can you try the game? We're releasing it this weekend." I was like, "I'll try the game," and they said, "Perfect, thanks very much." And they emailed me, and they're like, "Did you manage to get to try the game over the weekend? Because I saw you were at WASD, and then some magnificent bastard went and released a Portal 2 mods, and nobody played it." I was like, "No, I was away the weekend. I didn't touch it. I'm sorry." So yeah, that Portal 2 mod apparently got a lot of people's attention, mine included. Like I really dug Portal 2, and so the thought of playing that modded VR, I've just not got enough hours in the day, and it's just gonna get worse. This is what I was saying about October. October's stupidly busy.
Yeah, so
it's just gonna get worse.
So viewers of the channel know I've been playing Portal Sunday, then yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm not stopping streaming it until I've finished it. Like,
I get that, and I think you said the other day that the co-op missions aren't VR playable.
Yeah, Mike and GT tested it and it doesn't work.
That's a shame. Although there's the workshop riddled with like new levels and content for that. So there is hours in there, and aside from runaway guns, every now and again, was there any other issues with it for you, or
no? The runaway gun seems to be if you unfocus the window and then go back into it. But
as a streamer, which you frequently may well do,
what I've found out is it still works like it's on your hand. You just don't see the gun. The gun's in the miles away, so it still works accurately. So it's still like it's on your hand, but it's just miles away. But it still fires like it's on your hand, so you still get the. You just don't have the gun there. But if you die, so it reloads, or you get to the next checkpoint where it puts a load screen, it's back.
Right. Okay. Because Valve are good. They keep giving those modders like access to like SDK and that, don't they? So they are able to build it into the game. It's brilliant that Valve keep doing that.
So what you've got on there is one of the most impressive ones, which Valve just put on Steam, the Half-Life ones. It's as good as that in transferring it to VR. It's as good as those Half-Life mods. It's perfect.
Feels borderline native.
Yeah. If I didn't know Portal 2 was a thing and I just turned up to someone's house and they put me in the VR one, first I'd call them an arsehole because obviously there's a lot of flying about in it. But then I would think it was made for VR. Like, I wouldn't think that was released before.
I just want to get the up-down portal and jump into one in VR now and just see how trippy and vomit-inducing it is. Oh, that's my homework. All right, I'm going to do that.
Oh, yeah. There was one slight bridge hiccup.
The bridge. I saw the bridge. And then somebody said, I think it was Indy, said reload it.
And it worked fine,
And it was fine. So, that's the thing. If you don't know the puzzle, you would potentially, like, you were walking around thinking, what have I done wrong? Why isn't this working? And then it turns out it wasn't actually your fault. It was the game. It's very possible that may potentially have been a thing flat as well.
Because I can't, I played it in flat, but obviously when it came out, and that's the last time I played it. So, like, there's puzzles I'm getting to now where they get the more advanced ones where I'm like, it's like I'm doing them for the first time again. And I like that.
I was watching your playthrough and I was like, I don't remember taking phone calls from my mother or whatever GLaDOS was doing and being like, yeah, your mum doesn't like you. I don't remember any of that.
Sassy GLaDOS. I love GLaDOS though.
Yeah, I was shocked. And then Steve Merchant pimping around and I was thinking, do you know, I don't remember any of this. I can totally come back to this game and play in VR because none of this rings a bell at all.
Stephen Merchant was the perfect person for Wheatley.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. It's
just a
phenomenal choice.
Sort of perfect person for that sort of humor, because it's sort of like he can do self-deprecating humor when he needs to say stuff about himself, but then he can also got the delivery to just say stuff about you, which
You're not even mad when he says it. You're just like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
okay. Perfect match to go with GLaDOS's character, like, because GLaDOS is just torment you. She's just a tormentor. She does nothing but wind you up and. But yeah,
I love all the Valve stuff. The Knuckles demo was like, even though it was a small demo, you're just like, damn you, Valve, give us more of this. Like, even just that, the Aperture Desk Lab for the Steam Deck, it's just so much fun, and they know exactly how to use their hardware and their world. Yeah. They're fantastic with it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so there was, but yeah, honestly, I don't know if it's still on sale now, but I know when the mod come out, it was 85 pence for Portal 2 at the time in the sale.
If you don't own it, you should buy 10 copies. Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I was recommending it the mod over to people on the DPVR Discord, and I was just like, if any reason you don't already own it.
Yeah, I own it. Apparently, I've owned it since 2016. I have no recollection of buying it because, like, presumably most people, I got the orange box on Xbox. So because I got the orange box on Xbox, I played. Wait, that was Portal 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That explains it. So yeah, I must have bought Portal 2 on the PC because it was better.
Yeah.
Huh. Good times. So you play Portal 2 then, great time, fully recommend, like, go out, buy it for 85p, buy it for 85 quid. It's totally worth it, really.
Yeah, the mod's free. So you're not paying for the mod.
Just like Half-Life, wasn't it? If you own the game, you can just download the mod, and it will install both the game and the mod, and you're off to the races.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm totally going to be downloading that in the very, very near future. I did also Luke Ross again. Far Cry 6. That was an education. I played that mod. Very functional once again. Don't think that one crashed on me, actually. I broke it plenty of times, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it ever crashed. Getting the settings right, because Far Cry 6 just flat screen was quite taxing.
Yeah.
So playing it in VR with AR, it certainly did. I basically had to go medium at best, I think, settings-wise. And the resolution is a bit strange because the resolutions you need for VR, they're weird. They're not like usual 4K, 2K, 8K garbage. It's, wider than it is longer than it is wider and things like that. They're odd resolutions, so it doesn't know how to parse those. So the mod gives you a way of sort of tweaking it and getting a specific resolution. You then force that into the game, and then you go into the game and change it, and then you can view much better. I went straight in and was like, why does this look like Minecraft? But I managed to sort that one out, which is what gives me hope for using Horizon as well.
Yeah.
It's, once again, no hands, so it's all controller, face aiming and stuff like that. But if you've got a powerful PC, definitely get that installed. If you've got a mildly powerful PC, then give it a whirl. It's totally worth your time.
So seeing you play that Far Cry 6 on your stream mod, when I first saw Far Cry and your modding, I thought, Far Cry, because Far Cry 2004 has got a VR mod with 6-off controls.
Is that Prey Dog?
No.
That one. It's just somebody else who I should know and don't.
I grabbed it and installed it. It popped up with the how-to stuff, which was just basically launch it from the exe, not from Steam. So double click on the exe file basically in the folder rather than launch it from Steam. That was basically it. You can play with your settings. But when I was reading what it does, the guys put native support for the B haptics in it.
Okay.
So I was like, right, that's it. I need to get my B-haptics on and go in and play some. So, yeah, last night, I got it working on the night before last night, put the B-haptics on and went on and played it, and obviously cranked all the settings up to max because it's a game from 2004. It still looks good when you crank it all up to max, but like you can tell it's obviously not as good as it would now. But and the B-haptics,
Currently staring at it on Steam.
The B-haptics was perfect. Like jumped in the water and swim, and it lightly sets the sensors off, like pushing down your body if you're going forward, like really lightly as well. I was just like, this guy's done like crazy work. Obviously, getting shot, you feel it. Shooting your gun, you get a light vibration on the side you're holding the gun in the like shoulder area. I was like, this guy's nailed the B-haptics in this mod. Like,
that's crazy. The I hang my nose over B-haptics vests all the time, and I saw one today, and I was like, "That's a price for an X40, a tech suit X40. Is it a tech suit? The 40 one, the big daddy one." I saw it for a price that I was like, I would kind of be willing to pay that. Then I had a moment of clarity of like, okay, if I'm going to spend that money, there are a bunch of other things that I want as well. How much can I get those for? And they were both similarly priced. And I was like, I'm never going to use the B-haptics.
No, yeah. I'm going to say, the B-haptics good for that type of thing, but I've used the B-haptics now for the audio, like just playing a game like you would do with your Wooja, and the Wooja's miles ahead.
Right.
So,
yeah.
like,
I imagine it's got its own sort of perks and stuff, but
doesn't mean it's good there for the games that support the directional haptics. So, like, if you're shooting a gun, you're only going to get the vibrations in your shoulder. If you're getting hit, it's going to pinpoint where you've been hit and stuff. That's what it's good for.
I think that's it. Native support, especially with 40 of those little doohickeys all over you. Because you've got 16 in yours,
no,
is
I've
it?
got
20?
40. The OG one had...
Oh, you've got 40?
Yeah, the very OG one had 40. I thought it only had 20, but when we actually loaded up the B-haptics thing where it shows you which one's vibrating, it has got 40 on there, and then I counted on, and I thought maybe it's just showing 40 because it's got more than 16. But then I just thought I'll go and count them. Like, went down and counted one side. I thought, if there's 20 in one side, there's going to be 20 on the back.
That makes 40, yeah. Makes sense.
So I just counted the front ones. I was like, yeah, there's definitely 20 on, like 10 each side of the zip. So I'm like, so it must be.
Yeah. I would like to sort of tinker with that a little bit more, because my real experience with it has mostly just been that VR arcade.
Yeah.
That we went to, and without the audio and everything, it was fine, but it wasn't the best experience. So yeah, I would love to tinker with it a bit more, but so I'm, as I say, very busy month next month. There's a good chance I'm going to be on a plane, and there's a guarantee I'm going to be. Okay, I've got a flight booked. Hopefully I make that flight. So, and knowing I'm going to be on that flight, I was like, I kind of want some X-Real airs or
rockets.
Big ass screen on my face so I can play the Steam Deck on the plane. And so I'm sat there looking at the B-haptics, and I'm looking at some X-Real airs, and I'm like, I would be better off spending my money that way rather than this way. So I've tried is Rokid? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Is that the name of it? I've tried those a little bit, and it was mostly fine. I haven't had a good sit and play with it. Like, it was, oh yeah, let's have a go. Yeah, pass it around. It got to me. I was like, oh yeah, so that's what it looks like. Battery died. So I didn't get to watch any content in it or anything like that. But the viewing angle was almost like Tilt 5. Like, it was a little bit too far down. I had to get it up at a weird angle to get a good viewpoint of it. Whereas the X-Real airs that I tried were pretty solid from the jump. And they're also just a slightly better aesthetic to them as well. They kind of look like Blues Brothers glasses, so I dig that. So I think I'd rather go X-Real over that, but I shouldn't spend the money at all. It's going to be a very expensive month in October, So many different games coming out. There's honestly, I can't even remember. I know Ghostbusters is coming, so that's me at the back end of October. I'm playing Ghostbusters. I'm gonna once again quit my life and just become a Ghostbusters streamer. So yeah, be ready for that one. If you've got it as well, I'm totally multiplayer in for that one. But yeah, the very expensive month. So how the flying? Oh yeah, Far Cry. I was like, how did I get down this tangent? Sorry. They also did a mod for Crysis as well, not the remastered version, just the original. Which I have played the Crysis mod, and that is fine. The mod itself, very, very functional and things like that. You have to be very forgiving when it comes to the arms. Because while it will use your controllers and you can aim and shoot and all the gubbins with guns and things like that, I think both arms are attached to one hand.
All right, okay.
They're kind of flopping around everywhere because it's not designed to have separate arms and things like that. But going invisible and punching people and moving quickly and all that, everything worked perfectly. Everything was very functional. Just the you have to kind of forgive the arms. They're attached to the gun and it's not designed to be waved around like I was doing. But that's another classic shooter game ported to VR via a mod, and it's phenomenal. You really got me thinking this week about mods, because there's a load of games that I own that have mods that I've been wanting to play and never really got around to. Don't even know if they're supported anymore. Ukulele sort of a Lucky's Tale game again.
Really, really good, the mod for that.
Yeah, I think I even have everything downloaded ready to go, and I just never put two and two together and launched it. And it's making me think maybe I really should. Resident Evil 2 and 3?
Yeah. Prairie Dog ones, yeah.
Do you know, it occurs to me, I started 2, never finished 2. I've not even touched 3. And then 4 is due for release later this year, isn't it? I think they just said winter.
Winter, yeah.
In the state of play.
Yeah.
So it's another mod. What another VR game turned flat. Is there a mod for Resident Evil 4? It wouldn't shock me because it's all the same engine, isn't it? And Prey Dog's just like,
I think there is, yeah.
So you could technically mod that and play it in VR now. But I'm waiting for the PlayStation version because I did get the Resident Evil 8 on PS VR2.
Yeah.
And it drove me to try the mod, and I was very nearly ready to abandon the PSVR 2 version and play the modded version instead, if it wasn't for the fact that I could throw my knife in the PlayStation version. That's the only thing that took me back. The mod did way better things than the PSVR 2 version did, so modding's a big thing for me.
So
I like it more than I know.
When it came to the Resis, I had actually started Resi 2 myself. I'd Resi 3 ready, but then they did the update, didn't they? To the game.
That's exactly where it lost me as well.
Broke.
Capcom.
You just had to pause. Was it not update it? You had to just not update it to get it to keep working.
I think they did a ray tracing update or something like that.
Yeah.
And it broke the mod. It's once again since been fixed.
Yeah.
Just never got around to going back to it.
Same as I've still got Resi 7, Resi 3, and Resi 2 updates paused on my Steam because they started. I was like, no, pause them, don't let them do, and then never even let them finish installing.
Yeah,
they're just stuck there with update paused.
I may have done the same. At least for Resi 2, I don't think I installed Resident Evil 3. You've got me checking now. There's so many games. I may be jumping too far ahead in the show at this point. Since so many old games are modded, what game do you want to be modded next? That's exactly what I was about to ask. I was about to say exactly the same thing, 13. Like, if you could pick a game to be modded, like, what would you want to be modded next?
I would want something to be modded, but I know if it gets modded, if it ever got modded, which it never would, if it got modded or PlayStation released a thing because they own the studio, Destiny, I would never play anything again. Apart from Destiny VR. I know I wouldn't. So I'd like to see it modded, but I wouldn't like to see it modded for that reason. Because I know fine well, like, I would never play anything again. Like,
that's I've played a fair amount of Destiny in my life, and I moved away from the game. That would definitely get me back.
yeah.
Big bad way, yeah, definitely.
I had about
For me, I don't know.
I'm trying to think one that's not Destiny because, like I said, I want that too, but I don't want it to at the same time.
I'd love to see Bioshock in VR. I mean, I've seen Bioshock in VR via Vorpex, but yeah, I would love to see Bioshock in VR. That's especially Infinite. Infinite is such a lovely environment because it's bright compared to the others that are all sort of underground and creepy. So yeah, I would totally love to see Bioshock. That's another mod actually while I'm in the bees on my Steam library. Bendy and the Ink Machine. I watched Cold play that and it looks borderline native again. Like it looks fantastic. It's another great mod. A game that I watched Cold play and it doesn't seem as horror as I think it is, but it still looks a bit too scary for me to like enthusiastically jump into.
So I think I played the first few chapters when it came out offline because obviously it came up that it was out and I just wanted to try it because I'd always wanted to play Bendy, but then I was like, I'll never play it because it's not VR and like it's not very often I step into a game outside of VR if it isn't Destiny or FIFA.
Yeah.
So I was like, am I really going to play it? And then obviously got the mod. And I was like, right, I'm buying it. And then I think I gifted Cold it because I know he liked to play horror games on his stream. So I was like, so I gifted Cold at the same time. So he could play it.
Oh wow, I own Deathloop. Didn't realize I owned Deathloop. Should play that sometime.
Yeah, it's I played the first few chapters. I thought they were good. Thought they were decent.
Detroit Become Human. That would look fantastic in VR.
Yeah, the world of that.
Yeah. I saw actually another announcement today. Somebody has either released or on the verge of releasing a Doom Eternal mod.
Yep.
I'm totally going to play that. Like, I own Doom Eternal. I've never installed it. Apparently, I own a lot of Doom Eternal, nearly 90 gigs worth. So, yeah, I would totally play that in VR. So, I'm going to play that when it comes.
Tweet from Flat to VR. It's worth joining their Discord if you're interested in the mods because they all follow them on Twitter because they're normally out there shotting stuff out. Believe they said it's not fixed off yet, but the guy wants it to be fixed off. Which
yeah, I think that's what I saw. I think they said that you can play it in VR now, but it's only with a controller. Yeah. But they're working on adding, if not 6, at least 3 DOF support until they can do the 6. So I like the idea of that.
For God. So many like non-VR games in this folder I'm trying to look through.
I'm just skimming. I've hit the G's. I'm being very selective. I've hit the G's of my my Steam library. Which one is it? Ghostwire or Ghost Runner? I think it's Ghostwire. That's part of the Real VR mod. Yeah. That's one that I've never played and really kind of should.
Proper mod.
Is that
Dishonored with a 6 DOF?
Okay, I can. It's not for me. I don't. Everybody knows I'm a master of stealth in that I just shoot everything or kill everybody as quickly as humanly possible. So I suck at Dishonored. Although I did play a lot of it and I enjoyed what I played, and then for whatever reason left and never came back. But I suppose that falls into the realms of like Hitman kind of.
Yeah,
territory, doesn't it? When everybody wanted to be Hitman, they wanted to walk up and choke somebody to death and stuff.
Yeah.
So very similar sort of vein, I imagine. I can see that working quite well. Yeah. There's so many driving games as well. I would love to play Forza in VR. They were always the better driving game for me. So just the merge of both of my joys all in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally dig that in VR. Did Just Cause get a VR mod, or am I thinking of something
I think
else?
Just Cause 4 did. I'm sure I've seen someone do a video on Just Cause 4 one.
Yeah, I would totally play that, just third person as well. Batman Arkham City or Asylum, or one of them, I shoehorned into VR with Vorpex. Totally dug it. It's fantastic.
So that's an interesting conversation. Vorpex for modding. Now, 2019, I championed Vorpex because it was doing something. It was an injector.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd got into PC VR in 2018. And I played a lot of Elder Scrolls Online, like a lot of Elder Scrolls Online. And I was like,
yeah,
I wonder if there's a mod to get this in VR. I searched up people playing it in Vorpex. I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to buy this. Looked in Vorpex, like 30 quid to buy. I was like, God, you pay more than that for a game. Like,
I was going to say, yeah, if you get a couple of games out of it, it's worth it, innit?
And I enjoyed it back then, but as the DirectXs kept going up, it became more and more fiddly to use. And yes, Ralph's doing a great job of getting updated to support the new ones, but it's then like you've got to find the perfect profile, put your games at perfect settings, you've got to do twiddling and this and that. And I was just like going in the ini files and changing the stuff on and off with false and true statements, and I just thought it's to get the perfect
a lot
thing.
Of faff,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's not just like, oh, I'll try that game and it was acceptable.
Yeah, that's not what you need.
Not
what you need from a game. That's another mod actually that I've tried with. I think it was Ball. Played the Left 4 Dead mod. It's another Valve game. Once again, it's got an unofficial official mod, and yeah, that was it. Left 4 Dead was perfectly playable and functional.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that got us into it is there was a Ghostbusters DLC. It might have actually been Buck. With it being Ghostbusters.
Mm.
Yeah, there was like a Ghostbusters pack released for it, and it was fine. It was a weird start and a weird end, and then just normal game in between. It wasn't overly Ghostbusters-y. So then, whilst it was great in the VR mod, the Ghostbusters thing kind of let it down, and that then put me off it. But yeah, the mod itself, perfectly functional, and if you dig Left 4 Dead, then no, it was definitely Ball. If you dig Left 4 Dead, then totally try it. It's absolutely worth it. I've played so many VR mods, and I can't really think, like you say, Vorpex.
Were you playing with us? Oh, I definitely played with Ball and Cold. GTFO.
No, don't own it.
That is an outstanding mod. It's difficult. It's a really taxing game in difficulty wise.
Yeah, it looks great.
That was outstanding. That's another one which is
it's on
up there looking at.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list. Like it's on many a wish list. So if it does become available, then I will happily sort of give it a whirl if it is the price is right.
Yeah, Risk of Rain 2. Risk of Rain 2.
That's another. Yeah. Oh, when we played that with the Souls.
Yeah.
Risk of Rain 2. It's once again, there's a very big danger that you're going to stop rating the mod and start rating the game. But the experience with the mod, it was absolutely perfect. It was brilliant. So much so that when everyone was like, okay, yeah, I'm done for the evening, I was like, all right, thanks for playing. And I just kept going. Yeah. I was having such a great time. I was having an absolute blast. The Outer Worlds, is that the one that got a mod?
I think that did get a mod.
Yeah. I own the game. I am very, very tempted by the game, but maybe that's the thing that's going to make me mod it, because looking at these screenshots, it looks absolutely beautiful. So that's another game, another mod that I would absolutely love to play.
I think we're missing. I've just realised we're missing like a huge, huge one, which more introduced me to what could be done with VR mods. Alien Isolation.
The Mother Mod. Yeah, that was an old sort of DK2 one, way back in the day. And I've never, like, I own the game 2 or 3 times over, and I just haven't got the guts to play it.
It is terrifying.
Yeah. So it's on the one day, maybe, possibly, if I was motivated enough, I would play, but I just haven't got the guts.
Yeah, like when you get in the part where the lighting's perfect and all this, like, honestly, it just gets you. Like, you're always on edge. Always on edge. A little noise happens, you're like, oh, that's the alien. And it's probably just, you walked into something and not realised.
See, that's how you do horror. Like, you allow people to freak themselves out.
Yeah.
Without actually jump scaring them all the time. You just let them do it.
Yeah.
Another game I backed it on Kickstarter many moons ago, but I believe a mod came out for Pray for the Gods, which looked really good, and I've apparently got 2.5 hours in the game, but I've never gone back to it. That one got a VR mod. I need to do that. If I like total wish fulfillment though, looking through this list, I just saw one game that's completely out of character and totally pointless, and yet if I could somehow get Poker Night at the Inventory 1 and 2 in VR, I would love to just be sat at that table playing poker with those characters, listening to them talk shit all night. Oh, that is the one. That is wish fulfillment. That is what I want. I want Poker Night at the Inventory 1 and 2 to be VR modded, so I can sit there and look at Max playing poker and Strong Bad, and yeah, that's the one. That is my final answer. Is Poker Night at the Inventory.
So mods that I've just like expanded my VR mods folder on Steam, because any game I get to VR mod, I move into there thinking one day I'll try that. In there is which one I've tried. Dr. Beef does a lot of good work. Or Team Beef now do a lot of good work, but it's quest. Like side load into them through side quest. But Doom 3, which I've played through that on the quest, done fantastically. One that I have not played, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the OG one.
Yeah.
Well, the OG first 3D one, not the OG one. The OG was like the Doom, wasn't it?
Didn't the PC version of Saints Row get a mod as well?
I'm not sure.
I think it did. Sorry. Yeah, no, I think it did.
Saints Row 3 did.
The Saints Row 3, right, okay.
I remember watching Croy play that.
I want to play that in a big bad way.
I'm watching Croy play.
I don't know if you can do it co-op.
Struggling at first because obviously the opening mission, you've got that big foam gat, got the big foam gat head on, hasn't he? And you could see it. You could say kept clipping in front of Croy, but obviously that's only the opening scene. Once that's off, it was fine. Yes. It was just that's like the viewpoint. Clipped into the viewpoint.
That sort of, okay. I can see that being an issue, even if they just sort of for a brief section they move the camera. But okay, that's one thing, I suppose. But yeah, I would totally play that. But the Team Beef stuff, all of that, your classic Wolfenstein, Doom, all of those shooters, they've done great things with that. Even if, as you said, you have to sideload it.
I tried one today.
There's also the Lambda mod.
Tried one today just after work of Team Beef, and that was Prey 2006.
Is that the one where you're like a Native American?
Yeah, the very original Prey.
The Blue Oyster Cult?
Yeah.
That game was dope. That's a VR mod for Quest or
for Quest.
PC?
Team Beef for Quest.
So you just download the entire PC game and then it just shoehorns it onto a Quest?
Yeah.
That's insane. I want to do it.
If you want to try it out as well on side quest, you don't need to own the game, but they'll put like an hour free demo on there where you get an hour of the game.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can try it out. So that's what I was trying to do. Because unfortunately you can't buy Prey 2006 off Steam anymore. It's gone. So if you don't own it already, you can still get it through places like Kinguin and things like that, but because it's not on Steam anymore, you're not getting it at a good price. You're not getting it at like I think Kinguin was the cheapest, and that was about £13 something. So you're not getting it at like the price you'd expect to get a game from that time from.
Damn it! I own it on the Xbox.
Yeah,
it's not a PC.
I
thought I owned it on Steam.
I thought I owned it on Steam, but I own the reboot of it on Steam, but not the 2006 one.
Oh, that's annoyed me now. I wish I'd got it.
But it gives
you can
give like I said, you get the Arrow
find
demo.
games. You just can't buy them. Bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a big shame.
But yeah, I tried it. It made. But one thing I will say about the Prey one, as someone who's not suffered from motion sickness for a long time, the beginning of it, wow. Well, after
really got you.
After you've been caught by the aliens and you're on the rail and it like drops down and then pushes forward fast and then spins you around to look at people, that I was like,
I can see that being.
It didn't make me to a point where I felt like I needed to stop for me, but for someone who's got really good VR legs, it was like the first time I've ever felt like this is maybe a bit too much for me. Obviously, that's just the beginning when you're caught and you're going through the ship at first. Once you're off it and you're moving, it's fine. But just beware that if it can make you a bit nasty.
The uninitiated would probably struggle, yeah. That sounds reasonable to feel that way, I think. That's what I was worried about with Portal. Because you're just throwing yourself through portals at lightning speeds and there's the speed up and the bounce juice and all that stuff. Yeah, I thought, this could be vomit inducing, but you say you've done that and
I've had no issues.
All as well.
Yeah. But again, like I said, like if you suffer from motion sickness, you will suffer from motion sickness for that. Like,
yeah.
So I've just been
play that bit flat.
Been scrolling, trying to think of games, and I've hit one, which needs modding. Again, it's an old shooter. It's got horror. We need fear. We need a fear VR mod.
Oh, I don't need Alma. No, I do not need that little pick forward. I'm scared enough of children as it is. Yeah, no, I don't need that in my life. You can leave that alone. It was a great shooter, but then when you climb up a ladder and that little bitch is just staring at you,
that's like the first really big jump scare it gives you, isn't it? I think it's you go down the ladder and you turn around, and it's like she's just stood there. Or
I don't need that in my life.
If you want me scared, I'm sure 13 can say this. Condemned, Criminal Origins. Oh.
Okay, yeah, I owned that on the breaking news. Apparently, Fear has a VR mod.
Don't tell me this.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing. Chat says that Fear has a VR mod.
Okay, Maniacs, like I'll be picking your. Well, I'll search it. If I can't find it, I'll be picking your brains. I need Fear.
Maniac Psycho.
Is it a Quest 1 or PC? Why is there?
Don't know.
I mean, I'm happy to put it onto any. Oh, you were asking if it did? No.
Oh, right. Okay. That we got our hopes up then. Well, Paul did.
Got my hopes up.
No, this is wish fulfillment. So he was wishing that it had a VR mod. One VR mod that we've not mentioned that I'm pretty sure Cold will murder us for. Subnautica. In fact, yes. Yeah. No, is it a multiplayer mod? And it's native support.
Native support, isn't it? I think it must be a multiplayer mod.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stunning in VR. There's such a great place to be.
I'm going to call you Maniac Disappointment from now on.
Maniac Disappointo.
But yeah, Condemned would work.
Star Wars?
Condemned would definitely
Condemned would, yeah. especially when you like it's crime scene, like around with the.
13 said in the chat there, the bear in the mirror. She saw me playing it, and in the second one, you get chased by a rabid bear. A rabid bear. That sounds like it's one of the rabbits from Rayman.
Okay.
Like a bear with rabies, and I hit this line. I just running, and this is flat screen, and I'm not really that bothered about horror games, but I went sweaty while I was getting chased by this bear. I was like, yes, it's at the end. It's at the end. I get through there, and there's a door. Got to the end, and it was just a mirror. And
so you had nowhere to run apart from into the stomach of a bear.
Yeah, and I found out when I went in the second time, partway down that corridor, there's a hole in the wall you're meant to go in. But I just saw that thing at the end, but because I was that freaked out by this bear chasing me, I was like, I can see the door at the end, and I was just like kept running, and it was a mirror. Oh my god! But I was actually sweating from it. I was like from being so tense. I was like, God.
Didn't Slime Rancher get a VR mod?
Slime Rancher got a VR game, but it was just a basic one area type look after. It wasn't like a full game.
Is there anything to do in Slime Rancher?
It was like an experience, like
not just that. I remember now. Yeah, people were just like, okay, when's the full game coming? Now you've tested the water, and it didn't.
Yeah. But obviously the big mods. I know I mentioned them earlier, but the Half-Life and Half-Life 2 mod, which, like I said, are listed on Steam. If you go and search them on Steam, they are actually on Steam to download. You just have to get on the original games.
Yeah, if you own the original, you don't have to download the original then download the mod. You just download the mod and it installs it with the game. And because you have the license, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So
and they're fantastic. Like they are. Yeah, the guys done them. Jesus.
Yeah, they've done a cracking job. It's like Left 4 Dead and Portal and things like that. It's basically native support. Like if you didn't know that it wasn't designed for it, you would you'd be happy to be like, oh yeah, this looks crap compared to all the others, but it works.
Definitely.
It's had the Lambda mod on the Quest. You can just dump all of Half-Life onto the Quest and play it wherever you want. Works perfectly well. Like it's absolutely functional, and it's like you're just playing Half-Life. It's great.
So
you can do some janky stuff.
Maniac's in the chat there that the first Portal might be coming to Steam like that for the VR, because I know the guy who did the Portal 2 mod said to use something that they need to get permission of Valve to use. So maybe this is why you probably go into Steam the same as Half-Life did. That's why that one wasn't out. So I mean, it's the same guy who did Portal 2, then I can't imagine Valve not approving it, because they like people to mod stuff, don't they?
They do, yeah. I'm shocked they wouldn't let it come back to Team Fortress.
Yeah.
I don't know whether there was like you get an advantage in VR or something like that, but yeah, back in the old days, I played Team Fortress 2 in the DK2. Worked perfectly, it was brilliant. But then I thought one day, I'll go back and try it or play it, and it gone. Didn't exist anymore. I think that was back when Valve kind of fell out with Palmer Luckey. But then they were just like, nope, no more VR for you. Gone.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any more. I mean, I don't think I'd like them to mod it unless a good first person mod it at the same time as Splinter Cell, because Ubisoft decided just to destroy that.
Yeah, I did not care the slightest bit when they pulled the VR for that. It's just we're getting an Assassin's Creed still, so that's a thing.
I would prefer to Splinter Cell over Assassin's Creed.
Many have shared that sentiment as well. I don't overly care about either of them, but I will probably give Assassin's Creed a whirl if the general consensus is it's more than just a tech demo. Like, you kind of get the impression what they're going to do is lean into the staples of VR.
Yeah.
You climb in, you bow and arrow in, and you sword fighting. And then everything else is going to be kind of just something to facilitate your journey to all of them.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's not what it is, and they do it right. They use like a fully actionable, playable VR game that's not just a tech demo of what you can do in VR in those scenarios. I'm not going to pre-order it though.
No, I'm going to wait and see what people say about it. Like, I'm a fan of Assassin's Creed, but I started to like lose that sort of thing after they said there was obviously going to be a trilogy, and then Assassin's Creed 2 became a trilogy. Like, the Assassin's Creed 2 whole story became a trilogy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I sort of like, you're getting a bit stupid now.
I started playing Assassin's Creed 2, and then they just started releasing one a year, and I was just like,
yeah,
I can't keep up with this. This is just too much. And so because I can't keep up, I think I dabbled back into one of them on the Vita, the PSP, I think.
That
But other than
Revelations was that one, I think.
I was a woman.
Yeah,
it was around the same time as Assassin's Creed 3, I want to say. And I was like a woman in old England. Yeah, I bought Assassin's Creed Black Flag because the Xbox One came out and it had like 4 games. And I bought Assassin's Creed, Need for Speed, and I ended up playing Need for Speed for hours.
I actually thought Black Flag was the last good one.
Everybody says this. I feel like I do genuinely feel like I've missed out on not playing that game. But then at the same time, I just cannot bring myself to go back and play it. And I probably own it. We all saw my Ubisoft. I live a life of privilege. I do. I privilege and excess. I own so many games that I've not been anywhere near, and so yeah, I probably do own it. Just can't bring myself to play it.
So I think like the burning question, we've obviously been through the games we played, up to what we'd think we'd like. Is there any? Do you think the VR modding scene is going to be a benefit in the long run for VR?
So, Paradise Decay, for example. For those of you that don't watch his stuff, definitely give it a quick look and see if it's for you. But he frequently will take a 2D game, a flat game, and shoe on 3D into it using not Revive, Reshade.
Mm-hmm.
He'll use Reshade, and he will make a 3D game from a 2D game. And by all accounts, based on that practice of his shoehorning games into 3D, various devs have actually reached out and said, you know what, you look like you're having a great time. We're going to try and bring that to the game. Yeah. Madison is coming on PSVR.
Steam.
And it's published. And it's being published by Perp Games. And that's whether we've got PD to thank for that or what, I don't know. But it's definitely, on its way because games like that get modded and people enjoy it. Yeah. I think Outlast would be another one that I'm shocked 13 hasn't reached out and said. Another one that would probably do quite well in VR. Yeah. It's first person, it's spooky, it's sneaky, it's everything you want to have pant-wettingly good fun in VR.
The only one thing I would say is one thing I'd like maybe Paradise Decay to start doing on those videos is capturing his VR view. I know he's seen on Meta, but doing because everyone I've watched where he shoehorns them, it's the double eye view, and I'm like,
you want to just watch it without the 3D.
Yeah, I know he does it so you can watch them in 3D, doesn't he, as well? I think, but
to give you an idea of what the 3D looks like.
Yeah, but I was like, I struggle because I can never be bothered watching anything in a VR headset like that. I'm like,
it's
sort of need to
pretty much one of the very few and only use cases I've found for the Vive Flow.
Yeah,
was the watching YouTube videos in VR. Like I can just chuck them on, connect it, and off I go. So yeah, it's
I have a 3D TV as well. I could watch it on there. So I do like seeing things in 3D. The downside is that in order to view things in 3D, especially, games and things like that, I was watching him play Starfield, and I was watching that in the Vive. And that takes a lot of bandwidth.
Mm.
And compression really does make it look bad compared to what he's seeing.
Yeah.
I've actually sat in his VR space, and he said, check this video out, and he's put it on, and I can see the native, what he's seeing, without all the compression, and it is damned impressive what happens, what he's doing with them. And Reshade, unlike Vorpex, is a little bit of fiddling, but ultimately functional and free.
Yeah.
So it's certainly something, if you are that way inclined, if there is a game that you cannot wait to come to VR, or you just really want to try, then give it a whirl. It might be a thing.
Yeah.
I think that it does mildly rely on profiles, but I think from what I've seen of his videos, it's quite easy to sort of knock your own up and make it 3D. Maybe that's how I play Poker Night.
Mm. So for me, I think it's got a space, and I think the way the modders are getting and how good they are getting, like, it's just gonna. I feel like what it offers is the sort of full game experiences some people look for, like, because you do find a lot of VR games are shorter in length, maybe not as in much detail as people would want in relation to like the way the systems work and stuff. So I think it's got a space for those type of things, and like you said, they do seem to could convince some devs to go, actually, people are loving this, why aren't we releasing our native version of this?
Yeah, it's so immersive and enjoyable. Like I totally agree. It's one of those things that I would love to see more of. Do you know, actually, one mod that I would love to see more of? Praydog's UE injector.
Yeah.
This week I've come so close trying to find like an unofficial bootleg version of that.
Yeah.
To just shoehorn that into games, because if you think about it, most VR games, because nobody gets into VR to get rich, they're doing it in Unity.
Yeah.
But then devs that do want to get rich, they make games and they do it in Unreal. And Unreal is a kind of a lightweight engine to make really great looking games. And if it can just inject VR into basically every game, wow.
Yeah.
Like I'm totally in. There's so many games that I would love to play in VR. Ghostbusters, the multiplayer prop hunt game thing. God, I would love to play that in VR. You would struggle to get me out of that.
So what got me when they announced that UE injector and the Prey Dogs thing, I thought, is trailer use ready or not? Which is a game I love. It's very, very difficult. And it only allows keyboard and mouse, and because I was a console player until I got into VR, I'm not a keyboard and mouse player. But that game is made by a development team that I know the benefits of keyboard and mouse. And
yes,
me trying to play that with keyboard and mouse is, I can manage, but there's parts where I know I wasn't fast enough, but that's just because I'm using keyboard and mouse, and I'm like, oh, quick.
Yeah, you're not quite at that extreme level of being able to quickly just dead kind of that most keyboard and mouse gamers do get to. I think I think head aiming is perfectly functional. When I was playing Half-Life, is it 10 o'clock yet? Bioshock Infinite. Because I was using Vorpex, the only way to do it would be face aiming.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with it. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine if that's how I have to aim. Go for it. Let's have it. Well, I'm fine doing that. That's totally good. So I really am tempted to try and get a hold of a bootleg copy of that.
It's been so many times I've been trying to find Prey Dog's contact details just to reach out and say.
Yeah. I'm part of Prey Dog's Patreon as well. Like, there's no content whatsoever, but I could realistically send Prey Dog a message and just be like, "Come on, what's the deal? Giz it here. Come on, giz it."
Yeah, very
So,
but yeah, it's people like that, people like Luke Ross. I mean, I know some people like these native ones, which they've concentrated on one game, like Portal and stuff. They're allowed to can get very, very creative with the sixed off and stuff like that, rather than just an injector. But I think stuff like that's going to be an important part of it. It's sort of like Prey Dog is ahead of Sony in getting these hybrid games out there.
yeah. And as I say, the whole thing of the Resident Evil mod, it was so functional. It was virtually graphically, it was on par with what I was able to do versus the PSVR. But it didn't. The PSVR, there was just weird things that stood out to me on the Resident Evil 8, and being able to do the mod, I was like, I kind of want to just keep playing this. Like, I want to do it this way, and the lack of achievements bugged me as well. Yeah, so Prey Dog's doing great things, and they absolutely should keep going. That's why I'm a part of the Patreon. You get no content. I just want to whip them cash.
Yeah.
Because they're doing fantastic things. So yeah, I want that mod so bad. And soon, hopefully, because I saw that. When did that first turn up? I think it was Minecraft Dungeons was the first thing I saw. It was a long time ago, and it's still not. It's still being tested. It's not public ready yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want it. I want it so bad. Give it to me.
So I think a good way to end outside of the mods is for everybody looking to build their VR library. Today we got a new VR Humble Bundle.
Yes, some fantastic games in that list as well.
Let me get this up.
I would be clamoring at buying it if I didn't own like 80% of them.
So if you're looking to go for the free game bundle, obviously they do them in the different levels. You'll get Stride. Obviously all these are on Steam. Stride, Rick and Morty, Virtual Reality, and Zero Caliber for the price of £9.66 or anything you want to pay above that. Obviously the money does go towards charities. So the 6-game bundle, if you pay the minimum of £12.89, you'll get Propagation Paradise Hotel, I Expect You to Die, After the Fall Deluxe Edition, and the 3 other games that were in the first free bundle, the Zero Caliber, Rick and Morty, and Stride. And if you go for the largest bundle, the 8-game item bundle for the minimum of £19.33, you get Grimlord, Demio, Propagation, I Expect It to Die 2, After the Fall Deluxe, Zero Caliber, Rick and Morty, and Stride. And for £19.33, that's outstanding price. Obviously, you're in the case where you own all of them. But if you're looking, even if you were just looking at buying After the Fall outside of that price, you would pay the more than that for After the Fall on its own.
Yeah, definitely, and it's absolutely worth it. Once again, it's one of those games that to me it's a must own for every gamer, whether you're standalone PC, PlayStation. After the Fall, you should totally own that game. I'm just sat thinking, I'm mildly trying to justify it. Grimlord, is that the game I bought the other month? I believe
it is. It's like the sword fighting.
Somebody asked me to to buy it, and it was great looking game.
Like
yeah, Grimlord, I got that.
One, wasn't it? Like Dark
Yeah.
Souls type difficult.
So there's no point in me getting it for that. Demio, I'm wondering if I could give that to my wife and she could get the PC version from it, so we could play together. Propagation Paradise Hotel, I don't own. I've seen it played. It does not look like the game for me. In that I would most likely want to kill everything that moves, and you can't.
Yes.
I Expect You to Die, fantastic game. Already own it, played it, loved it. After the Fall, I own that like 4 or 5 times now. So, yeah. Zero Caliber, awesome game. Totally, you should play it. They paused PC updates for a while, but that seems to be back. Rick and Morty, already own that one. So, yeah. And then Stride is half a game, probably still. I don't know. Unless they've listened to the community and decided to actually finish a game. It's not for me. That's all.
Yeah, it's very swing your arms to run and all this.
But typically, I do buy these bundles just so Humble are like, yeah, keep doing this.
Keep doing them, yeah. Yeah, that is available. I think that's...
Yeah, go buy it.
We've also got
get some great games.
Tokyo Game Show coming up. Partner of my channel, DPVR, have said the new consumer headset, the new enterprise headset will be there, the P2. But then I've also said a device that nobody knows, they haven't mentioned yet, is going to be there. And give you a silhouette, and it looks like AR glasses. So it looks like the type of Unreal and things from the little grey silhouette they give. It's definitely a wearable, like just sunglasses shape. So I'm guessing it's going to be their first step into that sort of area.
Oh, that's it's one of the reasons why I back and keep showing off the Tilt 5 is because I want that market to succeed. I want people to be able to do that. So that's why I want the X-Real Airs. So hopefully, I don't have the phone to run the X-Real Air. That's the thing that worries me.
Very much interested to find out what those are. We've been trying to collect information out of them, but you find out at Tokyo Game Show when Tokyo.
Yeah, I guess so. So Tokyo Game Show does have a section on the website dedicated to VR. Tokyo Game Show VR 2023. That's going to be interesting. It wouldn't shock me if we didn't.
Didn't it Tokyo Game Show normally do like a walk around thing in VR?
I have, in the past there was VR chat. I think it was. You had to go into VR chat.
Yeah.
But then you could, take a look around the world in virtual reality. So maybe they're going to do that again. There's a list of exhibitors on there that is... Nothing is jumping out at me as like a, ooh, look at you. Bandai Namco, Konami Digital are on there. Shell Games are on there. And Magic the Gathering? Is that purely the VR section or? Maybe it's AR, something like that. I don't know. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, because a lot of their headsets are sort of Eastern based, aren't they? Your Pico, your DPVR, and even HTC, very sort of Eastern, even though HTC's available quite openly, as is the Pico now as well. That's happening on the 21st, tomorrow.
Tomorrow it starts, So you might have...
And then, of course, there's another event sometime at the end of this month. Nobody needs to know about that.
So you might have time to talk about... Might have more stuff to talk about. I was going to say, obviously, next month we've got whatever comes from MetaQuest, Meta Connect, Oculus Connect, whatever people want to call it, Connect, Disconnect, because they seem to only be inviting minimal people. Whatever they want.
That makes sense to me. You've got a bunch of content creators on payroll that the kind of the bigger names of the space anyway. So why bother blowing a bunch of time, effort, and money and making a massive thing for everybody to turn up to, when you can spend much less on a physical event and then just make it virtual for everybody else to turn up to?
I understand where they've gone from, but I think it's mad that some of the people have missed out because they're not meta ambassadors. It's like the likes of
Oh, I saw Nathan's
likes
tweet.
of Frill, Nafi, none of them invited because they're not a meta ambassadors. They don't champion meta. And I think Nafi still does, even though he's not an ambassador. He's still very meta centric.
He's got a good relationship with them as a brand and everything. So
I understand why they've only invited ambassadors, because they're the people they're trusting with their brand to present their brand out there. But it's sort of like, you should at least invite some big ones. Like, don't invite, like I said, Frill blew my mind that he's not there. Like, but you see where they're coming from. Like you said, it's easier for them to run a smaller event with people who they're basically support than have anybody there.
It's I as I say, I kind of get it. It's not going to become the Meta Connect or the Facebook Connect it used to be, or the Oculus Connect it used to be. I just don't see that happening. They don't need to have the massive space and all the time and money. It's going to cost them more than it's going to save. You keep hearing reports about how they're hemorrhaging money in that area, and Zuckerberg's convinced it's gonna pan out in the end, which good. Last thing we need is for him to just lose interest and abandon VR. Because as much as you may hate them, Meta, Oculus, they are kind of the foundation on which VR is sort of built.
Yeah.
And they keep pushing the industry forward. Buying a headset for 300 quid, it's insane that you can still do that. It's absolutely crazy, and it's Meta that's taking the loss on that.
Yeah.
Making that thing and hopefully making other people either get better or cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Either or is what it needs to be. So,
but so we've got that. Well, that might be something. Might find something interesting from Tokyo Game Show. We'll find out. But we'll talk about these next month.
Yeah, October is a crazy busy month, man. As I say, I'm going away for a week, and during that week, I'm convinced is when the Meta Quest 3 is coming out. I'm convinced that's when it's going to happen. It's going to be the first full week in October. The 10th, I think, is going to be the release date. Every year I have October off. It happens to coincide with my birthday, but typically, like, the Quest 2, I believe, was released on October 13th. So it wouldn't shock me if they were to do the same again, just the Tuesday around the beginning of October. Gives plenty of time for stock to replan for Christmas, for the enthusiasts to jump all over it. Yeah, I'm calling the 10th the release date of the Quest 3.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, one of us might have had a chance to try it. I won't have. I'm holding off at this time. My Quest 2 goes on when there's something to review, and that's the only time it goes on now.
I'm other than FOMO and the pathological need to try every VR headset, I'm struggling to justify the 500 quid.
Once they stop supporting Quest 2 and games start to become like only Quest 3, which I don't think it'll take them as long to do this time, the way they're dropping all the other titles. I don't think it'll take them as long this time, but I will get one when I can't play the games on the Quest 2.
Yeah. Well, if I was paying for it, I don't know if I would be jumping all over the Quest 3. It's just that the wife turned around to me and said, look, it's a big one. Let me go nuts for you. I'm not going to throw you a party. That's a waste of money. You wouldn't enjoy that. So what's the next big one? I was like, the Quest 3, and I think it's going to be released on my birthday. And she's like, right, fair enough, I'll buy that. So yeah. I'm golden. I've set her expectations, said, look, just get me the cheap one. I don't need to fill it with games. I bought the big one for the Quest 2, and I have hit the limit. I think I have filled it and deleted some stuff, but I don't need the big and sod it. So yeah,
we'll talk more next month on it.
Color pass through, I think, is going to be the thing.
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe I'll get bored and whip it up, and you can give it a bash.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Anyway, I'm going to shut up.
Yep.
Let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here. It's 10 o'clock. Thank you for everyone who's joined. I was looking why we were talking about that people to raid. There's no one on playing VR want to raid, so Undead Teds is always kind enough to raid me, so we're just gonna go and get Undead Teds. He's currently playing Amnesia Rebirth.
Oh, okay, yeah. More spoops.
Looking very scared on his webcam. Playing in the dark. You can see he's only got his face lit up by the telly. So yeah, we'll be back one day next month. Talk about what we've got to talk about. Like I said, we will have stuff to talk about then as well. And we're going to obviously start looking at as well, working on getting some guests on in the future again.
I've got a list of people that are happy to join us. So
yeah, we'll have to start reaching out to people.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having Tatiana on. Was it Tatiana's?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it Tatiana? Yeah.
From Colossi.
Yeah. Really enjoyed having her on and speaking to her about stuff. The week always is interesting, so we'll have to start.
Yeah.
You seem to have a list. I seem to have a list of people who probably wouldn't mind coming on. we need to start chasing them up, really.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah, you say the word, and I'll grab a few people.
Yeah,
totally.
Sounds good. So thank you for everyone who's joined. See you again next month. We're going to go and jump over the Undead Teds. So until next month, goodbye, everyone.